I've been putting this video together for a long time and it's my room transformation. You're literally seeing what it looked like before I started. This is it. You can see, like, I don't know if you can see my bedding properly, but I had this patterned bedding that always made me feel like I was in a child's bedroom still. It wasn't just messy, it was drab because I'd had no money to put into it. And then this year, like, my whole life changed really. And I was able to actually start putting some money into my room. I don't think I realised just how much of an impact my environment was having on me at the time when my room was just so empty. It basically looked like we had just moved in, and we did move. We've been here a couple of years now, but we hadn't just moved. Like, this had been a while, and it still looked like, probably not so much like we just moved in, but it was looking like I was moving out. Like, I'd packed everything up and the whole thing was just empty. I don't think I'm going to talk all the way through this because I think it might be a little exhausting for you as the viewer watching it. But I will jump in if there's anything that I want to mention. I'm sure there will be plenty. And if you want to watch and listen to someone's story who's turned their life around, and you also potentially want to turn your own life around, then I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe. I do have a following on TikTok. I have a small following on Instagram as well. But I really want to do YouTube, because this is where I get to be deep. This is where I get to show more of myself. You can see that it is true. I also needed to do some actual TLC, like serious cleaning here. I just let so much go by the wayside. First little bit of organising was definitely a start. New boxes. I didn't really have anything for storage apart from my wardrobe. I only had my bedside cabinet, which I was actually using for tops and knitwear, and even though I didn't have a lot, it wasn't all fitting anymore. I got these from Yisk. It took me a moment to remember where I'd gotten them from. I noticed that my floor was looking and feeling really messy. It was one of the things that was just making everything feel just extra bad, extra worse. Is that even a term that I can use? Everything just felt like it was hanging around. So I got these boxes so that I could organise and put them under the bed. And there was also a strange added extra benefit with that, because when I put the boxes under the bed, previously there was, as you walked into the room, you could see the space under the bed, and that wasn't great. But putting the boxes under the bed meant that you could then not see, instead of seeing this massive lump under the bed, you would see black. See the gap? Because it's a very plain bed, you can see with the metal. But that's one thing I haven't changed. Sticking to the same bed because there's nothing wrong with it. Changing the sheets, getting new sheets was something I wanted to do so badly, and I knew that was probably going to be the biggest change that I could make. Not just in the room, but for myself. No longer feeling like I was in a child's bed, basically. Because that was how I felt with these pattern sheets. Maybe it's just because it's not my style, but I really felt that. I love rich colour. I love my small luxuries, and I find that the small things are often the things that feel really luxurious to me, and one of those things for me is rich colours. So I wanted to choose 2 new bedding options because I change my bed once a week. So that way I knew I wouldn't have to go back. After 1 week, I wouldn't have to go back to like my old sheets, as I swapped them over. So I was like, right, I'll get 2 new sets of bedding. So one of them was this absolutely gorgeous dark green. You can't imagine how excited I was to finally see this change. Even since I've transformed my room, and believe me, you haven't seen the final result yet, but even then, I've had people say to me on social media, this isn't the room of a successful person. And I feel like this is a hate comment I'm falling in love with over time. Because as much as I wanted my life to change quickly, and it took so much longer than I wanted it to, I love the fact that I built it. I also talk a lot about manifestation. But even when you quantum leap, there still is a certain period of time. Everything changed so fast for me this year, but I still had to add things somewhat gradually. And I have loved watching everything come together. This room transformation sort of feels like the embodiment of that. And as you watch me struggle with my bed sheets, perhaps this is a good time to remember that change is also possible in your life. For me, it started at the end of last year. I made some changes in the summer, but the second half of last year, I was really realising what I'm doing, everything I was trying to do in trying to earn online just wasn't working. I felt like I'd kind of reached the end of the road, and I know I've spoken about this before, but I basically just surrendered and let go of everything, let go of how I thought everything needed to happen for me. And that was when I started realising that I hadn't been listening to my intuition fully. It's when I let go and I started feeling guided, just feeling that guidance and just taking those small little steps even when they weren't logical. And things just started to sort of shift and move. I wasn't even sure that that was going to be enough. And the picture of my life just changed completely. It started out with such small things, but it built up really quickly. That carpet is one of my pride and joys, by the way. And it's so my aesthetic. Again, I just love rich colours. That's what luxury is to me. And I know that to other people it probably, they'll look at it and they'll say, well, that's not luxurious and it's just ostentatious. But that's just my style. That's just my style of interior design. I also needed to clear a few little things out, make some space. I really had to do that on my bedside cabinet. I think our life is a lot like that as well with our thoughts. Sometimes we don't realise how much is built up in there, some of the negative thoughts or the beliefs that aren't really helping us. Sometimes we really just need to clear out of all of it. These little plates were such a nice addition. Yeast, again, I just saw them last minute, and I'm really not good with impulse purchases. I'm a very planned person, but when I saw these, I thought I'll use these and they're perfect. It really made a difference having somewhere to gather all of these little bits. It really helped everything feel together. It's also matching the purple and the gold, but that wasn't intentional.
Okay. Oh my god. Alright.
Yes. This was my clothing rail. Oh, and I think this is my bench. Perhaps I've put a couple of clips in the wrong order, that's very possible. It definitely at times had to get a little bit messier before it got better. If you're wondering why the book is on there, it's because it was covering my address. I think life can be like that. Things having to get messier sometimes before they get better. If I've learned anything about manifestation the last few months, is that it can look like chaos. That's often what it is to get what you want. Chaos. Because it comes with good and bad things. It can come with complications and challenges. Things that you didn't foresee. Like all of these practical things that I had to put together, at times with help. The whole space getting messier before it got tidier. This bench is actually, it's going to sound mad, but it has actually changed my life because I do a lot of recording from it now. Some recording I do stood up, but some of my cameos I'm able to do sat down now. And it's actually made my life so much easier. There was definitely a little bit of reorganising. I pushed it further back. It looked better there, closer to the wall. I had to put everything inside of it, had to move all of the clothes over. The clothes that had neatly been added into my new boxes, I ended up swapping them back into this. Or not back into this, but out of their new place into another new place. So this bench really does serve two purposes for me: the recording and its storage. I decided I'd put all of my knitwear in here. So my jumpers, my cardigans, my sweatshirts, it's been perfect for it. Still have plenty of space left. Yes, my recording equipment is always present, taking up a good amount of space in the room. This was such a process. I really was months at this. Oh, and black curtains. That made a real difference. Taking down those white ones. Cream-ish ones. The lamp. This was one of the final touches. I wanted something that would suit the aesthetic of the room, but I was also really glad that this had a more modern shape. So it felt like I was walking away from that old-fashioned style of lamp that I never really chose, that I've just happened to have ever since I was small. I think I can remember having those types of lamps going back to the age of about 3 or 4. This really is getting towards the end where you can see how everything has come together. It was so meaningful to me. It's been so much more motivating having this space, like recording in this space, doing work in it. Before, whenever I had to record, I felt like I hadn't even realised it consciously, but it was so unmotivating, sort of standing in the middle of that really blank space. And now I look forward to recording, and I enjoy it. I enjoy standing in my room because the space feels like mine. I love the colour. I love the floor space. Again, I really do love this carpet. It brings me joy every day. I like to pull the duvet further down on this one side so it covers a lot of what's underneath. That's such a small thing that really makes the room feel a lot more put together as well. I just absolutely love this. It might not be someone else's dream, someone else's style. It might not be some mansion or luxury apartment, but this feels luxurious to me sitting in it every single day. It just brings me joy. I would absolutely love you to subscribe to my channel. And leave me a comment. Tell me about the small things that feel luxurious to you. Tell me about something you're committed to changing this year in your life in 2026.